Day 142 of the Eternal Night. I, Salmi, a Tuxedo cat of refined British lineage and impeccable monochrome aesthetics, am writing this from beneath the sacred fleece on the sofa. My human, a creature of questionable intelligence who insists on walking on two legs despite the obvious stability risks, is currently boiling a kettle. Again. It is his only defense against the great Finnish frost. He calls it winter. I call it a personal insult. Let us be clear. I am a tuxedo cat. I am dressed for a gala, a high-stakes poker game, or perhaps a light spot of industrial espionage. I am not dressed for a climate where the air itself tries to bite my ears off. When we lived elsewhere, the sun was a reliable business partner. It arrived at a scheduled time, moved across the carpet in a predictable fashion, and provided a steady stream of vitamin D for my belly fluff. Here in Finland, the sun has clearly been fired. It showed up for 12 minutes today, looked at the snow, said absolutely not, and retired for the day. I looked out the window this morning. A mistake, I realize now. The white nothingness has returned. Human calls it snow. I call it frozen sky rubbish. I attempted to tap the glass to signal my displeasure to the local birds, but the glass was so cold my paw nearly fused to it. This is unacceptable. I have a reputation to uphold, and cat cycle is not a look that trends on the internet. Human tried to cheer me up by waving a feather wand. A feather wand, in this economy. I gave him the stare of 1,000 ancestors until he felt sufficiently guilty and provided a premium tuna snack. He thinks he is the master of this house. It is adorable, really. If you are watching this on your glowing rectangle, and your paws are currently warm, please acknowledge my suffering. My life has become a series of strategic maneuvers from the radiator to the heated bathroom floor. I have forgotten what a leaf looks like. I have forgotten the smell of non-recycled air. I am essentially a very fluffy, very annoyed Victorian ghost trapped in a modern apartment. If the sun does not return by Tuesday, I shall be forced to eat the spider plant. Not because I am hungry, but as a protest. A cat has to have a code, after all. This winter is a breach of contract, and I intend to speak to the management. Unfortunately, the management is currently busy wearing 3 pairs of socks and humming along to a podcast about heavy metal. Part 2. The Hallucinations of the Great Sky Raisin Famine. Day 145. The cabin fever has set in. I had a dream last night. It was glorious. I was on the balcony. The sun was hitting my black patches until they felt like warm toast, and the sky raisins, you humans call them flies, were buzzing in abundance. I was mid-leap, a blur of black and white grace, ready to crunch a particularly plump blue bottle. Then I woke up. I didn't wake up to warmth. I woke up to humans' cold feet accidentally touching my tail under the duvet. The betrayal was cinematic. I spent 3 hours today staring at the front door. I thought if I stared hard enough, the season would change through sheer force of will. Instead, human opened the door to take out the trash, and a gust of Arctic wind entered the hallway. My whiskers actually vibrated. I did a 180-degree turn so fast I drifted on the parquet flooring like a tiny furry rally car. Why does anyone live here? Why do I live here? Ah, yes. The high-quality salmon and the fact that human provides excellent chin scratches during the 2 a.m. Zoomies. The boredom is reaching critical levels. I have already knocked the remote off the coffee table 4 times just to see if gravity still works in the dark. It does. I also attempted to help human with his laptop work by sitting directly on the glowing keys. He said, "Salmi, I'm in a meeting." I said, "Mrau," which translates roughly to, "Your PowerPoint is boring and my beans are cold." He didn't seem to grasp the gravity of the situation. I miss the balcony. I miss being a sentinel of the neighborhood, judging the dogs from my elevated fortress. Now, the balcony is just a giant freezer box where human keeps his extra crates of sparkling water. It is a wasteland. I tried to explain this to the reflection in the mirror, but she looked just as fed up as I am. We shared a moment of silent, tuxedo-clad solidarity. If this winter lasts another week, I may have to resort to the unthinkable. I might actually have to play with the crinkle ball that went under the fridge in 2023. These are desperate times, my friends. I am a predator, a hunter, a queen of the urban jungle, and yet here I am, debating whether or not to bite humans' big toe just to feel a spark of life in this frozen void. Summer, come back. I promise I won't scratch the sofa. That is a lie, but desperate times require desperate measures. Part 3. The Resistance and the Call to Global Domination. Day 149. The thaw is a myth. Human has started lighting candles. He calls it Higa. I call it fire hazards for tails. He sits there, wrapped in a blanket, looking very cozy and smug. He doesn't realize that I am currently plotting the redistribution of heat in this household. If I can figure out how to operate the thermostat with my nose, he is going to be in for a very expensive surprise. I want this apartment to feel like the Serengeti. I want to feel the heat radiating off the floor until I am forced to lounge in a liquid state. Instead, I have to deal with static electricity. Every time human tries to pet me, there is a zap. He thinks it's funny. I think it's a sign that I am slowly becoming a superhero, or perhaps a very grumpy battery. I have noticed that the birds outside are starting to make a bit more noise. Is it hope? Or are they just screaming because their feet are stuck to the branches? I choose to believe it is hope. I saw a patch of gray slush on the sidewalk today that wasn't there yesterday. It's not exactly a tropical paradise, but it's a start. Now listen closely, fellow inhabitants of the internet. If you have enjoyed my descent into seasonal madness, you must perform the ritual of the algorithm. It is very simple, even for a human. First, you must boop the like button. Do it with the precision of a cat swatting a pen off a desk. Second, you must leave a comment below telling me how much better my fur looks than yours. It's important for my ego, which has been slightly deflated by the cold. Third, you must subscribe. If you don't, I will personally ensure that your socks are always slightly damp and that you hear mysterious scratching noises at 3 a.m. I am Salmi, the Finnish-British Tuxedo Queen, and I will survive this winter. I will see a fly again. I will feel the sun on my tummy. Until then, I shall return to my post atop the radiator, where I shall glow with the silent fury of 1,000 suns, or at least a very warm cat. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next update, which will likely involve me complaining about the quality of the chicken pate or my ongoing war with the vacuum cleaner. Stay warm, stay hydrated, and for the love of all things fluffy, send sunbeams. Salmi, out.